Very interesting matchup we had yesterday, and showed great resilience in coming back in Optic. But I do want to pick up on something that Kenny said in there. He said, have you got any words for the other team? Yeah, good luck, they're going to need it. I like a fighting Kenny, and we saw that a little bit on Friday with the first day's play. Didn't see him obviously much because we only saw the 2 matches, but he looked on form, Tommy. And an on-form Kenny is dangerous for any team.
It's the best when the best players talk smack, because they're the ones who can actually back it up. Like, what are you going to say to Kenny? What is anyone on Optic going to say to Kenny if he says, you guys are going to need luck? Like, what's the comeback? There is no comeback.
Well, the comeback is to beat him in the game. That's the only comeback they have, isn't it?
But there's nothing they can say. There's nothing you can say back.
Yeah, it's very interesting. What do you make of Optic's run though? Because they've been so much better in this last third of the year or last quarter of the year compared to the rest of the year. What do you put that down to?
I'm gonna say Stanislaw actually. Like with when they lost Apps and Stanislaw took over, he's not an experienced game leader by any means, right? But I feel like he has a really good grasp on how to run his team and which position fits his players the best. And I think that, and on top of that, I actually feel like they have a really good map pool. Considering they haven't really...
Much deeper now, isn't it, than it was back in the summer?
Yeah, I mean, if you compare it to other teams that's here in this tournament, we can even compare it to Envy. Optic's still going to... The veto process is going to be in Optic's favor again, and we said that yesterday also, you know, that the veto's going to be in their favor.
Yeah. So players getting warmed up. Obviously Optic inside the booth, Envy also in there. First best of 3 they're going to have to face here. Tommy, how's that going to change things up for Envy? Do you think it's an advantage for Optic having played so many games already?
Well, it depends, of course. I mean, some teams, they like playing more. I think EnVyUs probably is one of those teams that does like playing, though. But at the same time, they've had the practice room here. I'm sure they've been playing throughout yesterday. Many of the players have been playing Rank S. We've seen posts about this, so we know some funny clips from there. I'm sure that hasn't really affected them. If anything, I mean, they're able to watch some of the games yesterday, spend some more time preparing, whereas Optic, obviously, first they were focused on Cloud9, then they had to put all their energy on the next matchup, and now finally, at the end of the day, they were like, okay, time to look into EnVyUs. So from that perspective, it's always better to be the guy who has a little more time off, and especially when you have the practice room and you're actually not going to have to just sit around watching CS. You can actually play if you want to.
Yeah, we saw Optic using 3 different AWPers yesterday as well, Stanislaw as well as Tarik AWPing and mixwell AWPing. I guess we're going to probably see some of it, but they're going up against a team who can also do that as well if they need to. As we've seen it in the past, they've gone with auto snipers and AWPs and all sorts of crazy stuff. So I don't want to limit this to a Kenny S versus mixwell kind of matchup, or even a Kenny S versus Tarik, which it might be on certain maps. But that's a dynamic that's going to be really interesting to watch.
Yeah, of course. And like you said, Optic has 4 people who opt for them at times. You can actually see 4 people up more than just 1 or 2 rounds in a given series for them, which is interesting to say the least. It seems to be working for them, so it's hard to argue with the results. But with that being said, because they have multiple oppers, it's not so one-dimensional as it might be for, let's say Kenny plays against Alu and he's beating Alu every round.
Yeah.
Little you can do unless you have someone else who can pick up the op, but Optic can just actually have someone else up, and some of the time these op duels, they come down to how exactly the players like to play, what kind of duels they like to take, which angles they like to hold. And then if you change the player, they can actually surprise who's against you, because Kenny doesn't even know who has the op on the other side in a new round. If he assumes the same guy is going to play the same way, there's a guy whose skill set is completely different, who likes doing different things, can actually catch you off guard. So that's something to keep in mind in the op duels.
Yeah. Do you think that might be in his mind as well?
No, I think Kenny has come and thinks I'm the best player in the server. I'm gonna do what I want to do on the server, and I think that's how he thinks about it.
Yeah. Okay. How do Optic go about the map veto process, Robin? I mean, we've mentioned how important it's been.
Well, remove nuke, right? Yeah. And we saw yesterday as well. They don't play Mirage. So those 2 are obviously out already. Yeah. I think we're going to see a very similar map or best of 3 that we saw at E-League in terms of map picks, because Envy also has to remove their maps.
Yes.
We see Train, which is Optic's one of the best maps, and then obviously Optic have a decision here to pick Overpass. I think on the best of 3 at E-League as well, the only map that Envy won was Dust 2. Yeah. We saw Overpass here as well, so Envy's going to go on, I think, Dust 2 right off the bat.
Yeah.
And then
makes sense.
They might also go for Nuke, though.
Oh, they actually left Nuke in the...
Yeah,
they're going to definitely go for
Nuke Optic doesn't play Mirage at all.
That's true.
So there's no chance, but let's see. You would think that NBS goes for Nuke, and they do.
And that's a very smart pick.
And they'll hope for Dust 2 for a 3rd map now, won't they?
But
they won't let them.
Optic's going to remove Dust 2. I think they have to. And then EnVyUs will get it to Overpass because I don't think they want to play Cobble after the way they were trashed on it. And
well, Overpass is already picked, so I think that it's EnVyUs pick
Cash.
here.
So then, but I think you play Cash instead.
Definitely.
Probably. Because Cobble's, I would say...
Definitely, probably.
I would say Optic's top 2 maps are Cobblestone and Train. Yeah. And especially with the way they beat EnVyUs in the Decider on Cobble at E-League, I think they probably want to stay away from that. But let's see, because also yesterday, Optic looked very good on Cash. I mean, they destroyed FaZe on it in the deciding map.
Yeah, actually go for a Cobble.
That's seemingly what they prioritized more.
The only difference here compared to last week is Nuke instead of Dust 2.
Yeah.
And
which is better for Envy, right?
Well, keep in mind, Envy already won the second map there as well, so I wouldn't really... Even if it was a Dust 2, I would still say Envy would to win, but I still favor Optic here in this best of 3. First map should obviously clearly go to Optic on Overpass, and then you end up on Cobblestone again, a map that they completely smashed Envy on last week as well. So still very, very clear in Optic's favor.
All right, thank you both of you. We are going to, of course, get our thoughts from both Robin and Tommy after the game, but it is time for our first semi-final of the day for ECS Season 2. Let's head over to the commentary team. James and Dan, it's all yours.
Good afternoon, everyone, or good morning, depending on where you are. It's actually 11:20 here in Anaheim.
That's where we are, James.
I almost said Santa Monica, but it's Anaheim indeed. So, do you have a favourite between these two teams behind us, Dan? Envy and Optic?
It's a really interesting one. I think, again, like the map pool for both teams is pretty fantastic, and I really think I like this to go all 3 maps, but I'm loving the resilience out of Optic, and it's a young team, but they've showed a level of resilience and the ability to always kind of reset mentally and get themselves back into the game. And we're seeing performances from places that you don't necessarily expect it across the board from them. So it's hard to know what to expect. But I have a good feeling about Optic today for some reason. That said, I feel like it is about time that EnVyUs got to another finals. So part of me wants EnVyUs to get there as well. So I'm torn, James. I'm torn. Where are you at?
On the subject of being a new team, I think it's good that they had a surprising challenge towards the end of one of the maps yesterday. A bit more endurance, always good to have in your experience under these live events, under the belt. Indeed, it is. I think a lot of people have been waiting for Envy to have their resurgence, which you would think is inevitable with the talent that they have on their team. Will that be today? We will soon find out.
It is very hard not to be a fan of Cañellas, especially when he's hitting his shots as we've seen very, very recently. So can't wait to see that. Yesterday as well, we saw Tarik doing some awesome things, and mixwell is up and down here or there, but I expect mixwell to bring the big guns today. He tends to be a big game player, so I hope that we see the big game performance from him that his team is going to need to take it against a rejuvenated EnVyUs. I mean, they look so much different. They look fresh, whereas for a long time, I think EnVyUs, when you looked at them, it just generally seemed like they were faded, they were deflated, which wasn't they themselves didn't believe. But I think now they do, and that can make all the difference.
Well, here we go. It's time for the pistol round between these two sides. Envy starting on the CT side. Kenny will be the only person taking a forward position towards the A side, so it seems that they're looking to stop any potential rushes towards B should they arrive. 2.5 guys towards the B bomb site here for the CTs. You can see SIXER looking for an opening here, as is Tarik on the other side for Optic. Putting some jumping there. I think these CTs have to be careful. Some tagging through the wall, but with pistols it won't be too much. Again, Kenny still spotting towards A. We've got Apex in a super forward position. Could go for a potential flank later on. He's in trouble. Nice tap onto mixwell though. He can entertain rush while the rest of his team put in work.
Yeah, it's looking really good now for Optic after that last drag onto Apex. Oh, nice pop from NBK. He's coming back in, looking for more here. Very prolonged engagement, very awkward. But NBK, he can't survive. And now it's just me, SIXER and Happy. They're on the A bomb side at the moment. Waiting, spotting. And actually, Happy will spot one player. But again, there's 50 seconds. Optic can go pretty much wherever they want. And now they've collected a couple of USPs as well. There's even a Molotov to be used. A lot going the way of Optic in this round now.
Can they get the bomb down? That's the question. There's no flank on these remaining Envy players. There goes Happy, leaving it all down to SIXER, the newest addition to the team. And he's going to get shot on the side of the head by Rush. Good start for Optic. Again, Overpass is one of those maps, could say Cobblestone to a bigger extent, where you really don't want to have that bad start on the CT side. It can be a snowball turning into an avalanche.
EnVyUs, it's always fun when they have pistols, even though, again, like we've had this big period of slumping EnVyUs and perhaps many identity changes down the line. I don't think they'll ever kind of shift that
that expectation that they can always do insane things with a force buy. So let's see what they can pull out of the bag here on Overpass. You've got so many options with the force buy on this map, so Optic are going to be very cautious. But Optic are a team as well that like to play this disciplined anti-ecos. You can see a lot of discipline here. Nice little boost there for Stanislaw. He's peering his head over the top, just trying to see if he can spot any aggression from EnVyUs. But they're actually playing very passively, almost as though they had actually well, some real guns in this round.
Yeah, this is an old school strat when Overpass was younger. Lots of eco rounds and a lot of force buys. The CTs would just stack the sites because that's where a lot of the close quarters advantages are. They can play the numbers game better and have crossfires with their pistols. So it's going to be hard for, or well, it won't be easy rather, for Optic to take one of these two sites. 3 players towards B for Envy at the moment with all these grenades being deployed as Optic take their map control. We might see a rotation towards the A site. You can see Happy just spotting. They want those close quarters engagements. They want them, the Optic guys, to move into that one-tap range with these P250s and TZs.
Decide to move forward, now getting closer to A bomb site. Problems now starting to arise. Apex with a quick frag, but the rest of Optic now found their way onto the bomb site. Smokes down, making their lives a bit easier on the entrance. Looking pretty good overall here for Optic. You can see a very deliberate, very considered push has worked, and their timing was great. They left with 20 seconds here with the end of the round. So generally, that's a really good way to start the day. Methodical, disciplined rounds where Optic cross all their T's, dot all their I's, everything's looking good. So 2-0 opening. They just have to clear out the ecoing EnVyUs players now. Should be much easier. There's still the Mac-10 in play for Optic. So it should be no issue.
Envy are a team where when you see them lose a pistol, it's very common that you see Kenny starting with no armor, AWP no armor in the first buy rounds. Ideally on round 3 you want to have 34.50 in the bank to buy the AWP in round 4. He's got 27, maybe even less than that actually. Yeah, he had 27, so he's gone down to 24. So he's got $1,000 less than you normally would have. So we can expect him to be AWP no armor at the beginning of this, at the beginning of the buy rounds for these two sides. But again, it was a good measured approach from Optic in the previous round. They gave themselves enough time pushing the site. They still had 30 seconds on the clock. So there was time for error correction should anything go wrong. Envy with a full stack into the B bomb site. Can Optic identify this? You see them moving away now. The entire team abandoning the B area. All will go quiet for Envy, but will they rotate as well?
Yeah, Optic going for the right choice. Just have to see if EnVyUs will go for a timely rotation or if they'll just sit on the B bomb site and just enjoy the B bomb site, the lovely sides of B, as the bomb goes off on A, because that is about to be the reality here as the bomb does get planted by mixwell. And you can see actually EnVyUs going for a bit of a rotation, seeing if they can pick up some kills. Stanislaw, he's hungry with that Mac-10, wants to make the money. And he might be able to do that long-range Mac-10. Don't see that every day, but I'm not going to give him too much just yet. NAF's going to be the guy to get the kill onto SIXER. And you can see that EnVyUs have actually fanned out somewhat here. They want to try to create engagements which are favorable and surprising to the Optic players. So maybe they can steal a weapon away, or at the very least not give up free kill reward money for the players from Optic that are carrying guns like a Mac-10 or a UMP.
So far so good for Optic on Overpass. No deaths in this round, making that paper. Now the question is, will we see the Mac-10 retained for the following round with the force buy from Envy? Optic will know that there are no, or a few helmets. In fact, Cañellas going for M4 and armor, so maybe the AWP wasn't the plan to begin with, but I mean, he is the AWP for the team, so that is somewhat surprising. Stanislaw indeed will continue with the Mac-10 in this round, and as you can see, there isn't a single helmet onto Envy. So, for example, if he goes towards short B, he can have a lot of success with that Mac-10 should Envy choose to push. No push from Envy just yet, as you can see there. Going to be spotting passively towards B to start with. A lot of action from Optic. A lot of teams will just have the one player lurking outside the monster tunnel. However, they've got Stanislaw and mixwell on short B and NAF on the lurk as well.
Yeah, just playing it very passively, but they do have Optic that is some good map control. Nasty dink there onto Tarik. I wonder if that... Okay, I guess that must have been with a rifle, but yeah. Optic with good control over connector, over sewers, they have time to work into toilets a little bit just to create presence everywhere and make life very hard for EnVyUs to guess where to put their players. Right now their players are on A, well, mostly. We have 3 players on A and a kind of a passive setup on B so they can play retake. So they don't commit and die. They can just play the delay game, allow their own rotation to come in if the B side is attacked. But again, right now, I mean, it's very hard for EnVyUs to know what's happening. And Optic themselves looking for options. Stanislaw's going to, I think, find it quite difficult to get in with that Mag 10, but once he does, there's no helmets indeed, so that's going to be fun times for him.
What is the play from Optic Gaming? The bomb is in short B, but they've got 3 players towards A. mixwell with the UMPs, the front man towards the B bomb site, but they need to make a move here. Stanislaw and Tarik are moving towards the A bomb site. They're really running the clock down. Optic. 20 seconds left. They still aren't in any site. Trying to offer the fake, and maybe Kenny and Happy are rotating actually. 2 players on the B bomb site here, but one mistake and everything could fall apart for Optic. And there we go. 2 players picked off the spot. Stanislaw goes there, goes Tarik as well. Wow. Complete annihilation on the B bomb site.
No one died, James. No one died for EnVyUs. Nobody died. Kenny can have all the armor he wants, all the AWPs he wants, all the grenades. That's a really interesting deal actually, because EnVyUs there, they just found out that if we play really passively and play those setups in a very tight manner, and we can give up the map, and Optic still aren't going to have necessarily an easy time. So Optic are going to have to be forced to try out other things if EnVyUs play in that passive setup. But EnVyUs, they might try to mix it up. They might try to defy some expectation. We'll have to see. Right now, it is very passive once again from EnVyUs. 3 players towards the B-bomb side early in the round, but we will probably see that change into a 3-2 setup as the time starts to tick away. And once again, Optic, they've got themselves connected with mixwell. Oh! mixwell finds himself an offering, and he will accept that graciously.
That's a nasty surprise for SIXER. That's maybe the opening that Optic Gaming were looking for in the previous round and didn't manage to achieve. Most of the numbers, though, towards A long at the moment for Optic. Maybe they'll expect a rotation. Maybe they'll expect 2 on each side. That is the case for the time being. You can see Apex moving into a forward position with Kenny offering support from the site. Again, the CTs have the shadow advantage in these angles. Nice ball banging coming in there through that common area. You see the CTs hiding. There's the bomb. That means rotation for the CTs at the very least. 48 seconds. Got a push here from long as well. And Kenny's going to have a lot of work to do, but he can't do anything. 4 versus 2 now.
Yeah, that's really interesting. I think Apex played that very well, but there's only so much he can do. NBK now, he's taking a line up, but he can't get anything out of that. And I think even though the 4 players survived there for Optic, I think that was a lot closer than it otherwise would suggest. Apex obviously after getting that kill and spotting the bomb. I mean, EnVyUs knew that they had to make a play after this frag from mixwell. They can't just play passively anymore. You can't play passively. You have to try to get the advantage somehow. And the push comes in. They find the bomb. Apex try to play for the delay, but Optic, they were already in position for the split, and that was just too much to handle. So that's that. Considering that EnVyUs just had such a successful round, that is going to be a huge sigh of relief for Optic.
Again, Optic. Their current default seems to be 3 people towards the B bomb site and control of short B. Such a powerful area to keep control of. EnVy on the pistols. Their success was brief on the CT side. Averaging about $2,700 at the moment on the EnVy team. So we'll see what Optic's anti-eco is like. Not afraid to run the clock down on the Optic Gaming side. Again, mixwell's in the Bardolph Molotov position. That is that's something waiting to happen at some point. So let's see what NB can do. Often you'll find the ecoing the CTs in the connector area. Those close quarters can be advantageous. Speaking of which, that's the bomb no less, but only 1 CT there, so they can't hold on to it.
Quite nice though. Bit of damage in there, then that could turn into more maybe. There's 2 players on B. Cañellas is in the forward position there towards A, so they realize they're already rotating now. They know what's going on, but again, they just don't really have weapons. They don't have armor. There's surely not too much they can do with this. Optic are very methodical in how they push, but maybe EnVyUs can find themselves a couple of headshots. NBK with the deagle has a good position. Can't land a shot though. The aim punch is far too much. Cañellas comes in for the back with the AK. Spray transfer doesn't work out for him, and the round is closed down by Optic. Again, loving that we're seeing from Optic. Methodical, disciplined play when they're against pistols. So far, it's working for them fantastically well.
Buy coming out once again. Kenny has exactly the money for the AWP, but again, he doesn't buy it. We've seen so many matches recently where he's just running around naked with the AWP, but just going for the rifle again and again. I mean, he's the man that you look to in Envy to have the big performances, but we haven't seen a sniper rifle on him yet, and it's 5-1 to Optic, so this CT side may slip away from Envy before we see him on the big green gun. Optic with a change of approach. This time we don't have a fast pace towards short B, keeping Envy on their toes. Oh, this grenade could be money. Landing on Apex's lap. Nobody finding the tracer fire in the right angle. So the back off will continue to harass in the meantime. Passive positions taken from Optic around the fountain, but Tarik is starting to creep.
Yeah, nice change of approach indeed from EnVyUs. Now, trying to deny what Optic have been taking for granted. Disconnector control, but looks like it's going to be taken back here by Optic, leaving just 3 players for EnVyUs. A man disadvantage, and somebody has to step up to make the play to get EnVyUs back into this round. It's looking like Cañellas is stepping up to that occasion, but it's just not a good engagement for him. Multiple players from Optic there will easily snap him up, and that's now just 1 player towards A. This is an absolute disaster here for EnVyUs. Unless SIXER can do something ridiculous, there shouldn't be a way back into this round. And speaking of which, in fact, they're going to avoid SIXER altogether. It's going to fall to NBK over towards B, 1 versus 4.
Good luck, Mr. NBK. Optic does a good lot on his own, but this time there's too much. The timing is too wrong. SIXER's left on his lonesome. What are we gonna? I really wonder about this. Why we don't see an AWP from? Oh man, no. That is brutal. Tried to make the best play he could, but Tarik, the 180s are real, pirouetting like Torval and Dean. So Envy back on the eco once again. It's going to be 7-1, but now we should surely see an AWP coming out onto Cañellas on the next buy. But you do wonder, they're not afraid to spend more money than you normally would if you have an AWP on your team. But it's really very interesting that they've had 2 occasions to buy an AWP and haven't chosen to do so. Yes, it would be with no armor, but he's no stranger to that.
It is a bit irksome, isn't it? I mean, especially considering that we've been seeing some great form from him, but maybe he just doesn't feel confident this early with the AWP. It's hard to say, but again, you also feel as though if you're talking about a way to make big plays, that aggressive AWP on Overpass, that is where it happens. You know, the likes of Fallen, likes of Device, you see it so commonly. It just characterizes. It's a centerpiece of a CT side on Overpass. So I really need to see this. We need to see this from EnVyUs. They have to start getting that open to the hands of Cañellas. And once again, you know, Optic are in this situation where they're so comfortable. In rounds like this, they're up against pistols. No utility for EnVyUs. They just play their methodical anti-eco. They just keep it tight. Everyone's watching each other's backs pretty much. They're sticking together. They have one guy who's alone, but he's in such a position that he cannot get possibly caught off guard. And he's playing from the maximum ranges. It's just optimal, James. I love things that are optimal.
Close quarters, not optimal when you're on the anti-eco. Rush, cleaning up though. Very nice stuff. Keeping the gun out of the hands of his opponents as well. 2 plays left. We can see if any damage can be done. Maybe it'll play a part in a later round. So Kenny's going to have about $5,000 in the next round. I think one of his teammates has a little bit more than he does. So we'll see if the AWP comes out for the side, or if they'll continue to not have one of, if not their biggest asset on their team.
All right, let's see it, guys. Let's see the AWP on Kenny. There it is. There it is. AWP onto Cañellas. Now he doesn't have, as mentioned, money for Kevlar, but again, that shouldn't be too much of an issue.
It might be for this particular round though, because if you look at how forward his spawn is, he could get grenaded. But the thing is, like, they could have had this AWP 3 times with no armor, which again we've seen so commonly from him. But finally it's here. We'll see if he can get a pick off.
He's going to be going for it, and as you said, the pre-nades could be a problem. Let's see if we're going to see them from Optic. Just immediately smoked off there by the CT. So a forward setup playing around the smoke aggressively are EnVyUs here, really mixing things up in that sense. But Optic again, fast sewers control. The bomb though is going to be spotted maybe by Apex, and he'll just go down straight away. Now Cañellas is alone out there. There is Happy who's lurking around the toilets, who is somewhat near Kenny, but he's not near enough to really offer him too much support. Kenny's going for the play, gets the spot in, but at the same time, Tarik with an opening towards B. I think it's very clear right now for Optic that they can just hit the B bomb site and be good to go.
How do Envy get back into this round? They need to get that up into an aggressive position, but they're at the mercy of Optic at the moment. Optic with all the map control, despite the best efforts of Kenny and co going forwards towards A. Kenny around the toilets now. That may slow down Optic gaming, but SIXER's in trouble. He's got Tarik and mixwell coming his way, and that's an open B bomb site. Happy and Kenny on the rotation, but it's a 5 versus 2 at this point. What can they do?
And that could have been the way to get back into the round right there. We saw SIXER was able to find a 1 versus 1. He has to win that. Then if he wins that, he would actually get a second 1 versus 1 against one of the players coming from Monster, who was basically alone. And that would have evened up things. But yeah, it's nothing is working out for EnVyUs. The shots are not being connected. And the thing is that if you look at Optic's play style, we saw them get the advantage. Then they sort of give you the rope to hang yourself. They basically slow down the play even more. They know that you're kind of itching to make the play because you have to do something, and so they're just waiting for it. They're set up against it. It seems like they always are in place to expect exactly what could possibly be coming at them. So they look so comfortable right now, and this 8-1 scoreline that we're going to be going into is scary, James. It's very scary for an EnVyUs fan.
I think that's the first AWP kill. Yeah, definitely is. It's the first AWP kill we've seen from Kenny. But again, I think that EnVyUs just made really strange decisions around the AWP. Again, you see Kenny popping some shots here and there, but they could have had AWP no armor 3 times. And who knows what impacts that would have made. I mean, he's your AWPer. Why isn't he AWPing?
Yeah, and now it's an interesting spot for EnVyUs because they don't have the best money in the world, but again, they're going to say, okay, we're going to have to just go for it. Actually, a little bit better than I thought. But yeah, Kenny's got that AWP. I think he dropped a rifle, actually. So Kenny actually, instead of being able to get afford a Kevlar and so on, he dropped a rifle to a teammate and just bought a smoke grenade, basically, so they can have full rifle setup. And let's see how that works. We've got the aggression coming in from NBK. The timing doesn't work out. Tarik's there too fast. And once again, dominating control of Suez. At the same time, though, EnVyUs trying to push long. That's not going to happen either. Kenny is popped by Stanislaw. Look at that beautiful position once again with a boost.
It's all falling apart for Envy. Happy left in the water on his own, trying to do what he can, but he can't get anything done there. And Apex, his decisions have been taken away from them. They're just not getting the kills at this point. But that push towards short B, I think there are better ways in which to do that, because where NBK is throwing a Molotov, before you go around that corner, you can bounce a flashbang off the sign pointing towards B, which will pop flash people coming out of the tunnel, and you can Molotov it from behind the wall, well in advance. So with Optic pushing short B fast, that timing I don't think works out essentially. Way too late for those nades to come in. Look at the money on Optic as well. Even if Envy managed to win 1 round of what little remains in this half, Optic are going to have constant full buys. So the situation is a lot worse than the score implicates for Envy at this point.
Yeah, Optic are really playing beautiful Counter-Strike right now. They're just playing everything so smart, and EnVyUs is just not able to create enough chaos and have plays that really match up against Optic. And now we get the fast-paced anti-eco strategy, one of the most common, and let's see how it works out. EnVyUs, they do stack everybody around here, but again, we see a very strong, very coordinated push coming in from Optic, and it will easily clean out the rest of the EnVyUs side. The damage incurred is not going to be impactful whatsoever, as mentioned by James just a moment ago. The money's unreal for Optic.
It's irrelevant. His girlfriend thinks he's studying, but is his girlfriend's a waifu pillow? That's the question, Dad. That is a question. Double AWPs now coming out for Envy. They've gone from skipping AWPs on the first 2 buy rounds to double AWPs on round 12 of the first half. NBK with the second one. He is headed towards B once again. And Optic looking to break them immediately. Optic in full Bane mode. Is it going to work out though? I'm not sure if this positioning will be good for NBK and Co. so far. So good though for the NV side. Apex coming in as well. Could this be their second round?
It doesn't look too bad right at the offset. 2 players left there for Optic. Make that one. Just rush in a 1 versus 4. And the TTs know where he is. Nice, clean kill of Apex to make the odds a little bit better, but still very difficult. Another 1 versus 1 for him, but Happy's going to win it this time. And yes, the double AWP seemingly working out here for EnVyUs. against the fast player Optic, but they have a lot more to go to in their playbook.
They need all the remaining rounds. That's a nice shot from NBK there. Apex popping out with good timing. They need all the remaining rounds on their CT side. Optic with enough cash in the bank to survive, I think, all the remaining rounds. All 3, including this one. Kenny, this is the angle that Edward from Na'Vi used to peek all the time, and he never got punished for it. Literally never, not once. mixwell getting taken down towards B-bomb site. Lovely boost from NBK. It's got Tarik in the short B, and he will soon be dispatched of as well. This is a great start for Envy and what little they have to recover from this half.
They're actually winning some battles now. This is good, but look at NAF. He's actually managed to find himself behind enemy lines. Wow! NAF with a quick 2-man, and all of a sudden, the round completely changes. NAF is searching for the next player. Oh man, NAF! Another one for him. Single-handedly demolishing the NV defense, and now the bomb slowly makes its way up towards the A bomb site as NAF just sits on B, waiting for potential rotation. But here it is, Stanislaw with the plant on A.
NAF looking for that Christmas bonus. We'll see if he can get the ace. Rush may deny him, looking for Apex. He won't be able to do it. Kenny will save the day for now. Apex burning for the smoke. The Stanislaw's there, leaving Kenny alone. He's got 32 solids in the bank, and he can't get anything done. 11th round for Optic.
NAF, what a beast, man. That was just such an incredible play. Everything was looking great for EnVyUs until that point.
NAF's like, get that money, get that money.
And the thing about this as well is that Optic, in all the rounds that they've won previously, it's been because they're just making good decisions and playing really well as a team, playing well within their comfort zone and the plays. You know, we're not really seeing much improvisation because they don't need to do it. And that's one of the spots where it's like, actually, yeah, there's a lot of sick players who can just explode as well if they're in a bad spot and can just steal a round away. And that is a really nice time for Optic to do that, because now EnVyUs, they are on the worst by 3 rifles, a couple pistols. And once again, we're back into a round we've seen many times, James. Just Optic playing it super slow because they know that EnVyUs are hurt.
If Optic are to win the ECS finals, they will be breaking surely a lot of records for Counter-Strike teams. Such a short space of time as well. Only one player for Envy towards the long position. Kenny having to run all the way back to the sides again. Envy have to try and exploit their numbers with what little weaponry they have in this round. 1 minute on the clock for Optic to continue their charge, clearing out the long area. See the numbers on the A site for the CTs. NBK and SIXER towards B. Not in a position to rotate at the moment, but here comes the charge. Tarik looking for open in proceedings. K-popping out there with the M4. Buying time for his team. Only good for 1 though.
Yeah, great entry fragging here from Optic. Rush and NAF going off. And now they've got the ability to just plant on the front of the sites and fall back if they want to, but they're actually trying to take some forward positions here. They don't need to do that, but it doesn't really matter here for EnVyUs. It's just SIXER left with a FAMAS. As he darts in, it's going to be very hard to find these kills because Optic is starting to fade away, starting to force him to commit into wide angles where he is exposed to multiple players. Train Fragger comes in the name of Rush, and that is the 12-2. Optic look incredibly good this morning.
Good thing for Envy at least is it's a best of 3, because this is a very scary start for the French side. Happy and SIXER, well, almost no one's got kills really on the Envy side, so there's no point even mentioning who has what at this point. 12-2 last round, and full pistols for Envy as we move closer to the second half. Tech 9s for all but one of the Optic side as well. Make sure for Optic for the P50. Always good to upgrade your pistols in the last round if you've got the money for it, and Optic definitely do. Reasonable amount of grenades for Envy, so maybe time can be bought with these smokes. If they can ruin the timing of Optic when they want to start pushing, then perhaps they can thrive on the bedlam of what is to come.
And again, you know, Optic just not really being taxed. They just let go to discipline plays over and over again. It's been working out beautifully well. EnVyUs, it's so hard for EnVyUs to attack into, even if you know what they're doing. Because it's so optimal, it's hard to even attack into it, because Optic are able to deal with all of that, playing at these great ranges. Well, EnVyUs, though, know to stack the players in the right spot. So they can still go towards B. They still have a man towards B, which is NAF. He's not got Suez control or connector control though, so that is a question mark on the map for Optic still. EnVyUs, they are soon going to find some action here. Rush finds Cañellas towards the toilets. There's one more lurking. He's gone as well. Rush is just wiping them out. Now it's just one more player on the A bomb side. Happy getting tagged in the back by mixwell, or through the smoke actually as well. And that's going to be... That should be it, James. That should be it here for EnVyUs. I don't see what NBK and SIXER can do here. 2 versus 5 with Eagles. Not a good look.
Best of luck, SIXER. The honest Eagle. That is a loud finish to a brutal half. 13-2 in favor of Optic Gaming. How do you come back from this, Envy? Envy may be favored on the terrorist side. If they can win the pistol, then perhaps we can see comebacks the like of which we saw last night.
Yeah, absolutely, and it's really sad again not to see the AWP in more situations early on, because after those first 2 or 3 big buy rounds, the money for Optic, because they play their anti-ecos, anti-force buys so in such a disciplined way,
Hashtag waifu below.
Got just way too out of control. So EnVyUs on the pistol round, they got a couple men with grenades, which is always cool to see. It's becoming more and more common. And 3 players with Kevlar. NAF though, oh man! So it just drops in there, but he does get traded here. So EnVyUs with something to work with.
Stanislaw posting up on the short B position. mixwell's pushed through Monster Tunnel as well, looking to flank immediately. This is the Optic that we love to see at the moment. Happy though, he's creeping. He's creeping. Can he find Rush? Tarik's being picked off. There's an opportunity now, straight in the head. P250 drops as well, we should mention that. Has almost double the range of a Glock on the headshots for, well, one shot rather, on a pistol round. Stanislaw still in that short B position. That's the bomb as well. Now mixwell's in control of the bomb. Problem for Envy.
Yeah, they have a crossfire, the door opened. Oh man, that is such a beautiful setup between mixwell and Stanislaw. What a play from them. And now Happy has to clutch. He's so good with pistols, and he has to go down this now. The guy's been spotted, the Schrub gives it away. Mixwell takes the frag, and it's stolen away from EnVyUs. They had a good start going in there, but Optic too strong. 14-2. Man, this is crushing, James. What do you say about this one?
That was really awkward for Happy because he had grenades and P250. He had no armor. If you have armor and you're getting shot in the chest, it might take 6 shots to kill you. If you have no armor, it's going to take a lot less than that. So he doesn't even see mixwell before he goes down. Disaster strikes for Envy. Force fire, of course. 1 Tech-9 and 4 Deagles. 1 grenade. They've got 1 flashbang. With all those Deagles, maybe they need less utility. If they can find the headshots. It was looking so good for Envy, but then bombs drops and they get stuck in the crossfire in connector. That is a horrible way to die.
It is very grim indeed. Nothing going their way in this first map. Alright, so Optic just waiting for the push to come in. Bit of info there for mixwell, playing with the UMP, trying to keep his ranges, trying to keep to the medium range, as the long range kind of sucks with that UMP. But be careful of NBK as well here, as we can see with the Deagle. These long ranges looking to try to open things up for his team a little bit. There is time to wait, but also his teammates are moving closer and closer to the A-bomb site here. They're looking to just go for the straight-up split with these pistols. There's the first headshot comes in from Apex. It's good stuff. Now mixwell has got a lot to do here with this UMP, but he does have some help. Rush is there by Truck, and in they go with the flashbangs. Rush is just annihilating them. 3 kills for him. USP comes out for the finishing blows, and Happy is about to die as well, I think. Or maybe not.
2 versus 2, 40 seconds. Time to play with. Apex can't find a fatal kill. Happy, how do you avoid? He has to get the 1-shots here, and he can't afford to get traded. With Nafly's position behind the box, he would have had to pick the other player really deep, and then was very likely to have the 2v1 situation, but Nafly's not waiting around. Game point for Optic. Nuke is the next map once we get there. Last chance saloon for Envy.
Man, look at them lining up for Rush. That position there on the truck is so good. The angles that you can get, it can be quite common that all the players that you're looking at are in a similar place on next to your crosshair, and it's such a beautiful way to take engagement. You can see how strong it is. Now Optic on match point already, James. Game point. Oh man.
That's a good start for Envy, but probably too late at this point. Lots of smokes, lots of flashes. Maybe that suggests an A play. Maybe it's a wall of smokes. to get a bomb plant. NBK's delivering elsewhere. Great start from NV. This is called the one and done position. NBK not expecting that one. He has a teammate in tow, but he's carrying the bomb. That's Apex. He's got to be very careful here, because if he goes down, he won't go down. Never mind. Stanislaw. In on the front. Oh, instant headshot, instant trade. Leaves Rush alone. And now there are 2 M4s on his force fire, which means all these Envy players have armor. So this is horrible for Rush, but he is playing at the peak of his abilities. It's too much to ask. SIXER with great positioning. Envy not out of it just yet.
Yeah, stealing away around takes a large degree of mental fortitude to bring yourself back from this position. Just hearing that, oh, what? So casual, this casual headshot, why not?
Easy for NBK. So 12 game points for NV to fight against. Optic for the time being will be on the pistols. But many a game has been lost in versus such a buy. NV cannot take this lightly. Got a deep smoke coming in again. Relatively new smoke to Overpass in competitive play, I would say. But gets there quite late. You can see the teaser beyond it already. So its impact is somewhat minimal. Optic have chosen to stack around the toilets for those close quarters engagements as opposed to on the sites. That could take NV by surprise.
Yeah, it's a really cool setup actually. And as you said, the pistols are very dangerous. And one player spotted. Now Tarik knows that he's too much the spotting. He's baited. He's used as the bait. Out comes mixwell. On the other side though, we've got SIXER taking down mixwell. So you can see all these long avenues. The rifles just dominate them. Tarik though, and NAF starting to find themselves kills as well, and all of a sudden it's a 2 versus 2. How did it come to this point? We've got 2 rifles on these Optic players, and they have Kevlar. Tarik has a helmet as well. This is very losable at this point from EnVyUs. They can plant the bomb though, but they're deciding to go, I think, for rotation. Or are they going back to 8? No, the full rotation comes in from Kenny.
Tarik's in position already though, but he doesn't have the right angle, making noise as well. But now he's in a headshot position and he won't get a headshot. Down goes Kenny, down goes the bomb. 30 seconds, NBK looking for the flank. You can see he thinks that there's probably one CT in both areas, and he was correct. One player was around a connector, but now that rotation's come in from that flank, he can cover Tarik's back should that be required. NBK can afford no mistakes left to pre-fire. That's just going to give more info to the CT to see NAF popping out, even though he's got 14 HP. No fear from these Optic players. There it is, 16-3. NV were never in the game.
What a rude awakening for EnVyUs, having to play against Optic like that. And sure, Optic got off to a great start. Sure, we saw like amazing methodical play in the anti-ecos and everything like that from them. But the problem was that we never saw EnVyUs able to make the aggressive plays successful. We never got to see Cañellas with the AWP, and really what he's been doing lately, of course, is dominating with the AWP, and that's how you dominate CT side. Aggressive AWPing. Never saw it. That is not a good way to start the day.
Yeah, I mean, it was 7-1, I think, before we saw the AWPs coming out. And again, if you look at the recent matches of NV, always in the online situations at the very least, if they lose the CT pistol, then Kenny will spend more money than you normally would if you're an AWPer and go AWP no armor. He seemed quite comfortable with that. It does depend on the map and the positions you're taking as well, and how susceptible you are to grenades, but they wait till their 3rd buy to get their first AWP. I don't know why, like you have Kenny on your team, that he's buying M4s for multiple buy rounds.
It's a bit weird, isn't it? And I mean, it's so cool though to see how strong Optic are generally across the board, from an individual perspective, from coordination and so on. And I didn't actually ever imagine that we would see this level from them, because you can see that level of structure that they want to play. That is something reminiscent of SK in older iterations of Dignitas as well, and what Dignitas tried to do under MSL. Like, it's very structured, but they have the ability to play out of the structure to cause extreme chaos with play. I mean, with the play that we've seen at Rush, NAF, even in the Stanislaw as well. It amazes me.
Nuke is going to be the second map in this best of 3. That's coming up after the break. We'll see you back here shortly.